everybody, this is Jean here, Jean Truelove from Truelove Quilts for You. First time I'm in my sewing room for my new sewing room in about 3 months. I'm going to sew something today. I was getting so fed up with my downsizing, with my rebuilding, with all of the building works. There's still some tools over here. We still have to put the ladder up. We still have to put my light up. We're taking a little bit of break from the larger project. This was a huge project, right? Building my new sewing room. But I thought I have to sew something. And Jen, my friend Jen said, don't tell them that. But I will, I'll be totally honest. I didn't feel like sewing. I'm so tired. I'm recuperating from our move. This was a gargantuan mammoth task. I was totally exhausted and set up this beautiful sewing room, and I'm like, I don't care if I ever sew again. Only because I was so very tired. I had to regroup. And we got some patio furniture out, or the deck furniture out back from our other house. Things are coming together, and I am an organized person. Not overly, and I like stuff, obviously, and stuff is everywhere, but that was the problem. Like I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning, ridiculous, right? Where are my safety pins? Remember my pink thing of safety pins? I woke up thinking, where are my safety pins? I found them. I found them tucked away. But, you know, the other day, I think I said the other day, excuse me if I'm repeating myself, I did have to hem just a few curtains for something. I broke a needle. And I don't know where my needles were. I couldn't find it. And as my dear husband, he's like, I said, I don't ever feel like sewing again. He's like, when, you know, you have to recuperate, recover. You'll be fine when you find out where everything is. So slowly but surely I'm getting there. And I found my 2019 block of the month quilt, right? And the last I had done, if you were following along, I was going to be doing my sashing and my cornerstones and actually putting my blocks together. If you are new to this and you want to follow along, in 2018 and 2019, I did a sampler quilt. In 2018, there were, how many blocks? 24 blocks, I believe it was, 12-inch blocks. In 2019, I've done 42 blocks, which are 9.5 inches, this raw edge finished, that I'm putting together. The block of the month is for beginners. If you've never quilted before and you want to, go back to the very, very beginning. I show you the very beginning blocks of how to cut and how to sew so your seams match. Very, very, very simple. And then at the end of I put up a block every week, every 10 days or so. And then at the end of 6-8 months, you have a quilt that I've had dozens of people, beginners say, I actually made a quilt. I tell you what to get, whatever. So I had done this 2019 block party, and then our move came, and it just abruptly came to a standstill. I found it today, and you must excuse my appearance. I was a bit of a mess, so I put on one of my kids' t-shirts. I found my blocks. I had cut out my sashings, and this is where we were at. And I was going to show you. This is called. It's not proper. It's called a design wall. I just stuck a hunk of batting up. I used to do this in my other room, and I used to lay stuff out on my larger table, but this works nicely. A design wall is, for me, what I've done is I've taken a hunk of batting. Obviously it's not big enough, I just pulled it. But you can get like a flannel backed tablecloth. You can get a bit of fleece, you can get batting, 100% cotton batting. I don't know if polyester batting works, probably. Just something that your fabric, like miraculously, sticks to. And then you can arrange your blocks, and that's exactly what I'm doing now. And if you go back, or if you followed along with our block party, you guys have probably finished your sampler quilt. You beginner to intermediate to advanced quilters, you probably finished your quilt. But this is where I'm at. I'm putting my blocks together. If you followed along, I had made 24 red and white blocks, and then I had made 24, or I think that's what it was, like cream and burgundy. Basically, I'm making a red and white quilt, but my not instructions, but my suggestions were you can use scraps, you can make every quilt block different. If you have two colors, which I'm doing a red and white quilt, it will end up looking. So these are my blocks. And my friend Jen, if you remember last year at the 2018 block party, she was so funny. She said, okay, so we do 20 blocks. It was that, or 24 blocks, whatever it was. So we do 20 blocks, I believe it was 20 blocks. And so like week number 1 has to go here. Week number 2, I said, no, Jen. You make your blocks and then you put them at the end of the day wherever you want on your quilt. And that's where I am right now. But what I've done is I've taken my red and white, my burgundy and cream, and put in 2 piles. And these are 9.5 inches. I've cut a million sashing, this is called. This is called sashing here. 2.5 inch strips. Are they 2.5 inch strips? Yeah, 2.5 inch strips. That 2.5 inch strips by 9.5 inches long. And then I've cut a million little 2.5 inch square cornerstones. Now this is how I attach my blocks. Maybe you've inherited a bunch of blocks. Maybe you have other blocks. I don't know. This is how I put my blocks together if you're doing sashing. And there's many ways. But sometimes your blocks can get your rows can get a bit wonky, and this way, for me, makes your rows nice and straight and square. So what I've done my first top row, and I've done burgundy and cream, red and white, burgundy and cream, red and white, burgundy and cream, red and white. Now that's one row. Now my next row is going to be not my blocks, it's going to be my sashing. So I have here white block, red sashing, white block, red sashing, white block. Now I'm just going to go along. This is a tone on tone. Remember, I have to see which is the proper side. And I'm just going to go along and I'm going to put on my design board. Just stick it up like that. And then I'll take this off the design board in that order. And I'll take it over to my machine. And I will sew 1/4 of an inch. Very important that you sew 1/4 of an inch. You must really excuse my appearance. I look a mess. I usually try to get dressed up, but I was so desperate this morning. Oh, I must tell you what happened this morning, if any of you are interested. Maxwell is going to school in a new program. Or no, a program that he's been in since for 2 years now. This year. Anyway, we changed school districts and we had to go to a new school district. So what was happening is they were nice enough to say he can finish out the program in this other county. And they will arrange transport, which is a 20-minute drive. So every morning I was early. I was driving 20 minutes to take him to school, and then 20 minutes in the middle of the day at like 1:45 to pick him up. And in this move, and I mean, first world problems, right? I got to take my kid to school. You have to understand, we have 10 children. Our children always got bused to school. Every single one of them. Maxwell, because he's disabled and is in this program, he got door-to-door service. So this is new to me. I'm like, oh my word, and the building and the moving, and he did miss about 2 weeks of school because we needed him for this move. So anyway, the last 10, 12 days, I'm taking him to school. And it was exhausting. It really was. I was nervous and, watching the clock because I'm an early person. So to get him to school. Anyway, we emailed the new school district, and they had promised for the last about 8 days, oh, we'll have transport. Well, nothing was forthcoming. So I was getting like, I'm not, we're grateful for the help and everything, but I'm like, come on, that's what you said, you'd have transport. Anyway, this morning I'm bleary-eyed. I did not sleep well. I wake up and we leave here at 7, to get to the school, we leave here at 7:35. So Maxwell's getting his bagel ready and his drink, his coffee and his backpack. All of a sudden I look out in our driveway, not out the road, in our driveway, there's sitting a van. It says school students. And I'm like, I run outside. And I'm like, I'm dressed like this, I'm a mess. I'm like, are you here to pick up Maxwell? And this guy's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, thank you ever so much. Thank you. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. God be praised. Thank you. It's such a burden on me. And so I'm like, Maxwell, come on. Here, he was sitting there for 10 minutes. He said, oh, I came at 7:20. I'm like, oh, sorry. Sitting in our driveway. No one let us know at all. But anyway, so that was that. So Maxwell was like, oh, so I'm like, you're okay, Maxwell. And we introduced ourselves to the driver, and because it's all new and different for him. And so he was just slightly nervous. He's cool. But anyway, if you're concerned about that, Maxwell's doing well. So I don't have to watch the clock. And I think seriously, that was a big stressor on me. This whole move obviously has been stressful, and being aware constantly of Maxwell's well-being, and he's happy. I just got a phone call from him a few minutes ago. He's volunteering at the cafeteria at the university that he's going to, the program that's being held there. He needs black trousers. So we have to go he says, oh, can we go to Walmart or Target and get me some black trousers? So I'm like, okay, because it's sort of a uniform. They're trying to get Maxwell into it's a independent living course. It's very, very good budgeting, which has a problem with day-to-day activities, things like that. So he was chosen to work in their cafeteria, which is a good thing. So afterwards, he'll come here. I don't have to pick him up. I can sew a little bit. I'm so thrilled. So anyway, oh my word, I waffle on. Anyway, this is what I'm doing now, as you can see. So I'm going to take this row of Sashing and Cornerstones over to my machine, and I'm going to sew them, quarter-inch seam. And then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to see that my quilt starts, I just pull any block that I think, but this is a nice one, that I'm going to come back, and I'm going to put this, I'm going to just do the exact same thing all the way down. Obviously, I won't have room, but I'll maybe get another piece of batting or something, just to see the progress that I'm making. As you can see, so this is red and white. This is red and white, and then burgundy and cream, and then I'll just go along like that. So this is how I attach blocks with Sashing and Cornerstones. So I've already sewn that one. I'll sew this row, and then I'll sew this, pressing to the dark side, and then it's easy then. I can nest these seams, I can match those seams up, and the cornerstones and my squares are lovely and square. So anyway, that's not a tutorial or anything, but that's what I'm doing today, getting caught up with my projects, my quilt that we've made, my 2019 block party. Again, if you don't know what was happening, go back. There is a playlist of all my videos from 2019. If you don't know how to sew or how to quilt, you'll be able to make a quilt at the end of the day. I tell you from step one. And I always say my instructions and my tutorials are very much geared to, my thought process is, you want to learn how to quilt or sew, you go to YouTube, how to make a quilt. And I always say, you go to YouTube to learn how to do something. You want to repair a dishwasher, you go to YouTube, and you want the person, I think, to say, get this screwdriver, put it in this screw, and turn that, right? Because you don't know how to do it. So a lot of tutorials assume that you know how to do quite a lot of things. Mine, I don't. I assume you don't know how to do anything. So when I'm making my beginner tutorials, it's I've really made it very elementary, and I repeat myself, as you know, I repeat myself over and over. But if you are a beginner, you'll be able to do it. And that's my instructions are geared right to the very, very beginner. And so here we are making our 2019 block party quilt. For you guys who have been following it along with me for a while, I don't know quite what I'm going to be doing in 2020. Jen said, why don't we do 6-inch blocks? I'm like, Jen, I'll be like 80 of them, right? Oh, like it more a little bit in depth. A 6-inch block, you would think that it's easier to make something smaller, but it's not. We started out with big blocks and bigger pieces, But I'll see. I want to get this under my belt. I want to do a bit of sewing today. I want to take a bit of a breather from all of our moving and get back into my sewing. I'm sure if any of you have been in my position, you'll understand. It's been 3 months. I'm thinking, how do I sew? And Maxwell said real seriously, do you remember how to sew? And I'm like, well, I think I do. I turned on my machine and I'm like, oh, okay. So anyway, that's what I'm doing today. That's what's under my needle today. And I just wanted to check in and tell you that I will be getting back into the swing of things slowly but surely. And thanks for your patience, because this was a quilting channel and all of a sudden it turned into a moving channel. But yeah, it's been exciting, and I'm thrilled that we had this opportunity to set up my lovely sewing room and share with you guys. All right, thanks again, folks. We will see you later. Bye.